There's a lot to think about when starting a company, and it can often feel overwhelming. We talked to successful founders about the traits needed to build a startup. Let's hear from them now.
I tend to be very aggressive in terms of when I want to get things done, I'll get them done.
Yeah.
Also tend to be impatient in a way. So it's hard, as being impatient is hard on me, right? But sometimes it just helps me get stuff done. In terms of Kaushik and I, we get along very well. That we're both that way, and we get the gratification from seeing or building stuff in our hand.
Yeah. Getting the actual product, and seeing that and giving it to users. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing feeling to just be able to draw these wireframes, and then a week later you see it live in the App Store.
So what's a skill that you feel like entrepreneurs must have before they start building a company or a product?
I'm not sure if it's a skill that they must have, but something that I've learned over time is that really helps me understand better about what startups are like and how to operate them. Is that when I first began, we thought that failure is everything. This one idea that I have needs to be executed perfectly and it needs to succeed, otherwise it's a failure. So at one point when we were doing this pay-per-swipe ad model and we were getting lots of users, I think I had this idea that if we switch or if we pivot, then it's a failure and I have failed. And it was very hard to accept. But if you think about it in a different way where you're doing experimentation. It's kind of like a scientific, science project where you're trying to validate some of the assumptions that you have, given some of the resources you have. Then if you think about it that way, it was a great experimentation where we realized that even though we tried all of these things, it did not work. So it must be the idea, not the execution. So these days what we do is that if we have an idea or if we have a goal, we will come up with some of these experimentation, like experiment 1, 2, 3, and we'll try them out and see, really track the metrics to make the judgment call on instead of taking it as oh, it's my idea and my dream, I need to make it happen. If you consider it as hey, these are some of the ideas that we'll try. If they fail, that's okay, we'll move on. At the end of the day, the worst thing that can happen to us is that we fail and we don't know exactly why we failed. Was it the idea or was it our execution? Knowing exactly why I failed is one of the learning that will help us go to the next one.
Yeah. So failure is an option, but you need to know why.
Right, exactly. Okay. And you have to it's best if you fail quickly.
Yeah.
The worst thing is to fail slowly and painfully over years.
So it's just like a Band-Aid, rip it off and get it done.
Yeah.
Okay.